Ho, Merry Christmas! I have a random assortment of Star Wars games that I've always owned that are just waiting to be analyzed. We're just going to randomly pick them out of this bag here, and let's get started. What is our first one? Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, the game. This game is totally bizarre. Not entirely a good game, nor entirely a bad one. Ironically enough, it's the game's glitches and utter lack of a morale system that makes it so completely disturbing?
Ah! Don't hurt me. Ah!
Excuse me, can you help me save my son?
It's the killer.
You're a no-good killer.
You can go on massive killing sprees in this game with absolutely no repercussions whatsoever. At least you can kill Gungans in this game. Finally, my fantasy about killing Jar Jar Binks has been fulfilled. Mission failed my ass! I saved the saga! Aside from being a Jedi murderer simulator that makes killing younglings seem quaint, Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, is a surprisingly well-varied game. When playing as a Jedi, having a lightsaber as well as Force Push really gives you an ability that when playing as Padme or Pinata or Panaka or whatever his name is, doesn't have. Except it would be more fun to do more than just simply bounce back lasers with your lightsaber as a primary means of attack. The game switches from being an action game to a 3D platformer to an RPG. However, much of the interactive conversation portions are broken.
Like the Force, a Jedi to help us.
The camera has a weird overhead angle that's incredibly frustrating, making you unable to see what's ahead of you. Also, the game's idea of a lightsaber fight is just... yeah. If you want a game filled with bugs, child murdering,
Help me!
but an overall fun variety of gameplay, it's actually not so bad. Oh yeah, that does me good. As bad as this game may be, in some ways it was alright. However, unfortunately, N64, they got the filler. While the PS1 received the official game release of the most hyped and most disappointing movie of all time, the N64 was stuck with the table scraps. At the time, I remember this game being fun, but now playing it again? God, it's boring. You can upgrade your pod racer's parts and race on more tracks with each subsequent race that you win, but that's about it. At least hearing Watto hum the Cantina song is pretty cool though. Getting the bad taste of the prequel trilogy out of my mouth. Luckily, the rest of my games are original trilogy. So let's see what the first one is. This is a game that doesn't quite know what it wants to be. Is it an arcade flight shooter or a third-person adventure game? One aspect of the game greatly outshines the other, and it's not even the majority of the game. It starts out strong with the Hoth level, but then becomes an average 90s shooter when taking control of Dash Rendar, a hardened space pirate, voiced by a guy in the PC version of the game who sounds a lot like Alec Baldwin.
Well, as much fun as that was, I don't see us joining the ranks of that crazy rebellion.
But it's not. No, seriously, it's not. Go on IMDb. It really isn't. The camera is about as stiff as a worn-out N64 control stick. You could choose between a first or third-person perspective, or you could choose a cinematic camera that kind of looks like shit, I mostly prefer to use a first-person perspective, as it seems the game was designed to be played like a first-person shooter. One major plus of the game is its flight simulation scenes. Not only just the Battle of Hoth, but anytime you go on dash run to our ship, it's pretty fun. It was the first game to actually make you feel like you were tripping up an AT-AT with your tow cable. And the final level is fucking sweet. Yeah, blow that shit up! Did I mention the import of Joel McNeely's score from the Shadows of the Empire Expanded Universe series? Star Wars Shadows of the Empire is unique in where it's based on an expanded universe series. The story takes place after The Empire Strikes Back and before Return of the Jedi.
There was a time when heroes and villains alike lived in the shadows of the Empire.
I must admit, embarrassingly enough, I still can't play the sewer level in the game because of the sea monsters in there. Ah! What the fuck is that? Holy shit! Turn it off! Turn it off! Turn the fucking game off! As average as Shadows of the Empire may have been, it did lead to one of the best Star Wars arcade shooters ever, Rogue Squadron. This game is a blast that pushed the N64's hardware past what many thought it could do, creating an awesome arcadey space simulator that lets you continue to trip up walkers, get in dogfights, fly an automobile, find a code to unlock the Naboo starfighter before Episode 1 even came out, and die many, many frustrating bullshit deaths! And then Rogue Squadron led to the fucking awesome sequel, Rogue Squadron 2, Rogue Leader. Rogue Leader featured beautifully reenacted scenes from the original trilogy that are even impressive to view today. If the GameCube looked like a cheap lunchbox, then it was one of his launch titles that could show just how much ass it could kick. The graphics still look awesome. Very few, if any, Star Wars games have successfully reenacted fun, engaging battles, letting you blow up Death Stars, fight on Hoth again, and let you destroy the second Death Star, this time not only in the Death Star, but fight all the Star Destroyers in the Battle of Endor. With the Rogue Squadron series done, we got the next best thing. The ultimate Star Wars Stormtrooper killing simulator. Star Wars Dark Forces 2, Jedi Knight 2, Jedi Outcast, or whatever the fuck the chronology is. It's all messed up. Moving past a mere Doom clone, it was Dark Forces 2, Jedi Knight, that allowed you to wield a lightsaber and truly feel like a Jedi warrior. The subsequent sequel did much of the same with a highly upgraded engine from the previous incarnation. The awkward live action scenes of the previous game has been replaced with slightly less awkward in-engine cutscenes. Equipped with a selection of force powers, you can't simply go to town with a lightsaber. Unlike the prequels, not any schlub can wield a laser sword. It takes time, patience, and an effective use of the Force. Last but not least, I'm going to pretend like I don't know what's in this bag. The holy grail of Star Wars games. Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. The game is blistering with choices, coupled with fascinating characters, and a story with an incredible twist which I won't spoil. You're actually... Much like Jedi Knight 2, you can build up your character with light or dark side powers. It all depends on how you want to play. Luckily, your choices throughout the game lead to what the game ending will be, unlike another game BioShock made.
So be it.
Oh, fuck you! 3 games and that's what I get, you motherfuckers! Knights of the Old Republic takes place thousands of years before the events of the prequels, and is filled with various fascinating worlds. You have Terrace, Kashyyyk, Dantooine, Tatooine, Manaan, Leviathan, or however you pronounce it, Korriban, and the Starforge. This is the greatest Star Wars game ever made, And if you like video games in general, even if you're not a fan of Star Wars, get this game right now. Those are the random games that Santa has in his bag. Do you like most of the games that I reviewed? You have to. How can you not like Knights of the Old Republic? Phantom Menace game, I'll admit, it's completely fucked up and bizarre, but shit, killing Jar Jar, getting away with killing